All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming to our meeting for Instant Decision Day. And so we are meeting to talk to you guys about something that's been going on for the last couple of years. And also, if you can just make sure if you can mute yourselves, if you are not muted. Towards the end, you can ask any questions that you like, whether it's related to Instant Decision Day or not. And if you have any questions as we go along, you can put them in the chat. So we're really excited because we have some special guests on here today, some graduates from the class of 2020, and we placed a bet before you guys came on to see how many students were going to show up. So right now, I think I'm going to win, and I should have put some money on it, but we'll see. I said 14. We're at 22. 3 minutes in, and I know a number of them are adults, but everybody's popping in now. All right. So you guys are here about Instant Decision Day. It's something that we've had for the last couple of years, and it gives you guys an opportunity to be able to, meet with a college official, have an interview, and pretty much just be able to gain acceptance on the spot. And sometimes they will actually give you money. And so it's really a great opportunity for you guys, because most of the time when you apply to these colleges, you don't hear anything until the spring if you have been accepted. But these Instant Decision Days, they start in October and November and December. And so you guys are able to find out right then if you're able to get some money or not. And so what I did was I sent you guys an email. I know I probably sent you 1,000 emails, but I did send you an email maybe about 20 minutes ago that has the attachment of everything that I'm talking about today. So if you want to take notes, you can, but all of the important things are on the notes that I sent you. And also, if you look in your Google Meet invite box, there's also information in the Google Meet invite box that has it in. So what it is a handout for today with all the details, the schedule of who's coming and the date. And then there is a link if you have not signed up. All right. So what we are going to do, and I think I'm going to put it on one screen now. I don't know what the view looks like, but I'm going to put it on one screen so that whoever's talking will be on there. So who do we see on the front? Do you see me or do you see Maggie? We see you, Maggie? That's who we see? Okay.
I see like 8 people.
You see 8 people? Oh, it depends on your view. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce our VIPs that took time out of their busy college schedule to meet with us today. So we have Mariah Basella. We have Bryce Allen, we have Aviana Brown, and we have Maggie. And she's going to get me. Is it Paramo or Paramo?
Paramo.
Paramo.
You said my last name wrong.
Oh, what did I say? You see how they turned on me because I won the bet, but that's okay. That's I figured since they went off to college, maybe they got fancy and changed their names. So we're gonna ask them a couple of questions. So if we can go in this order, if you guys can tell us your name, the school that you're at, and your major, and how many Instant Decision Days you think you did. So we'll start with Mariah, not to be mistaken for Carrie.
Okay, my name's Mariah. I go to Westchester University. I'm studying early childhood education, and I did 4 Instant Decision Days.
Okay. All right, we have Bryce.
Hi, I'm Bryce Allen. I go to Mansfield University. I study psychology, and I went to 3 Instant Decision Days.
Okay. Now we have Miss Maggie.
Okay. Hi, my name is Margaret Parama, but people call me Maggie. I go to Kutztown, and I'm currently majoring in business. We'll see how that goes. And I did about 3 Instant Decisions, I think, 3 or 2.
Okay, we like your microwave. Are those illegal appliances back there or legal appliances?
They're legal.
Okay.
They're from the dining hall.
Okay. Because you know, guys, sometimes you have to pay for those extra.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, we have Miss Aviana.
Hey guys, I'm Aviana. I go to Temple University and I'm studying nursing, and I did 2 instant decisions.
Awesome. So just a reminder, if you just came on, if you are not muted, if you can go ahead and mute your mic, so that way we won't have anybody come in between our VIPs that took time out of their busy schedule to come. So this is the second question I'm going to ask you guys. If you guys can describe your experience taking an instant decision day, you know, what it could be, you know, what you thought it was going to be versus what it was, whatever your experience was. So whoever wants to go first can go first.
I'll go. It was not as bad as I really thought. At first, I thought it was going to be very stressful because you're talking to like administration from a future college that you could be going to. So you want to make like, you want to impress them. But when I went, it was just like a normal, like you're speaking to a normal person. They just ask you like any question as if you were going to a job interview or something. And it was really relaxing. If you just, like, if you have a bubbly personality and you just get along with people, then it was really easy, at least for me. So it wasn't as stressful as I thought it would be. For certain colleges, I know one college, I think it was Mansfield. That one I was a little stressed about because I was like, I wasn't prepared for it. So preparing like a couple days ahead of time will help you a lot instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to do this on that day, show up and just do it. So, yeah.
Awesome.
I can go.
Mhm.
Oh, he's raising his hand. Some kid
Yeah, I
was
was like, he's raising his hand.
I just wanted to ask, like, how do you prepare?
Like, you just have to mentally prepare yourself, like, and get into that professional state where like you're speaking to somebody that is basically making a decision whether you're allowed to go to that school or not. And because like they say like you need to be prepared for the best or for the worst, so like they could say no right to your face, and it's just like, oh, like you don't really know what to do. So like preparing for the best and the worst is like something you need to do because you honestly like it's unpredictable of what could happen.
Elijah, it's like talking to a college coach.
Thank you. You said
It's
what,
just
bro?
like that. It's just like talking to a college coach. If a college coach comes in and tries to talk to you, it's basically the same thing.
Okay, all right,
It's really nothing different.
all right.
So
me,
Bryce,
it
you
was-
might as well go next since you're here. Oh, well, go ahead.
Okay. For me, it wasn't, again, as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was really nervous, but they're really nice. Like, the cops, like, so most of the ones that I had were, like, really nice people. They were, like, they just go over, you know, your stuff, like your GPA, your SAT. I feel like for preparing, I went a little overboard, and I went on, like, YouTube, and I looked up, like, what kind of questions do they ask? Because I was so nervous. And they didn't even ask me half of the questions that I like researched. And so like you just want to like you're gonna be nervous. You can't avoid that, but just know it's not gonna be as intense as you think it's gonna be. It's gonna be very smooth. They're gonna ask you a couple questions, why you want to go there, what do you have to offer, and stuff like that. What your major is, and it's not as bad. And also dressing nicely. Is a tip. Miss Mitchell told me, you know, dress nicely for your instant decisions because you know you want to look professional. It's like a college, like a job interview. So, yeah.
I agree with everything that they all said. It's all about preparing yourself and having an idea of where you want to go. You just have to go about it professionally and you have to be prepared.
And what was your experience like?
For me, I was definitely nervous. I didn't know like what kind of questions they were going to ask, but I just went in there basically as if they didn't already make their decision, I was going in with the mindset that I was going to give them the decision. So basically like yeah, so basically I was like went in there thinking like, okay, well if you didn't make your decision, I'm going to make you want me to come to your school. So I was just trying to be confident when I went in there.
Awesome. What were some of the questions? Do you remember some of the questions that they asked? Because they pretty much asked the same questions at every one, didn't they? I think you're on mute.
Oh yeah, pretty much they all asked the same questions. Basically, it was like, why do you want to go to our school? And stuff like that. What would make you a good candidate for this school? Basic questions like that.
Mm-hmm. And Bryce, what was your experience like?
My experience was, yes, it was very nerve-wracking sitting outside your door waiting to go in because, you know, you never knew what was going to happen. But in the end, you just have to kind of just take it for what it is. It's nothing like if they say no, oh, well, it's just not meant to be. That's really just what it is because, you know, you can't control their decision making. Even if it is your like dream school, it's just one of those things you just have to, because I'm gonna be honest, I did not think I would be at Mansfield University. I thought I was gonna go to Kutztown and walk on at Kutztown, but now I'm at Mansfield, which was one of the very last schools that was on my list. So you just have to kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say you really don't have to over prepare. I would just say don't like stress yourself out trying to prepare for these. Just kind of go in and be yourself.
Awesome. So since you're on the screen, we'll start with you for the third question. How do you think that participating in Instant Decision Day helped you with your application process or just in general?
I think my Instant Decision Day helps me a lot because they also gave me a lot of money, certain schools. So I was able to kind of narrow down my schools to know which ones actually had interest in me. So that kind of helped out a lot. And it kind of gave me better experience with filling out with applications to see what colleges were looking for. Because the questions they ask you is usually what they're looking for in you. So, yeah.
Okay. Aviana, how did it best help you with your applications or in general?
It helped me overall because it was like mind settling, knowing that a college that I wanted to go to, they gave me their decision like right on the spot. So it helped me with what schools I was going to apply to next and stuff like that.
Okay. Mariah, how did it
Yeah.
benefit with your applications or in general?
Yeah, for the most part, like in the beginning of senior year, I knew I wanted to go to Westchester, and there was an instant decision day for Westchester, but because like my GPA and grades like didn't line up for it, I was like, okay, like there's still other places that I can apply to. And so having the decision and like them hearing it and giving it to you on the spot was better because I'm impatient. And so college applications take forever to hear a response from. And so I think just being able to know like on the spot, like what colleges you got accepted to and what colleges you didn't was like easier to make a decision quicker rather than later.
How long do you think, when you said that it takes a long time for you to hear back from the school, what do you think was the longest one you had to wait for? Like not an instant, just a regular application that you did.
So for Westchester, I applied in October and I didn't hear back from them till May. And so I was pretty much set on choosing Widener because they were offering me a scholarship and everything. And then I got accepted into the summer program for Westchester. So that's when it was like a really last minute decision of me switching and being like, I wanted to go to Westchester. I got accepted. And so that's the longest one I waited for it was a long time, 7 months.
Okay. And Maggie, i.e. Margaret.
I think it's like what everybody else said. I wanted to go to Kutztown, and there was an instant decision, and like I just wanted to know. Like that's honestly what it was. I hate waiting for anything. So for like the other schools, I was like, whatever. If Kutztown says yes, I'm going to Kutztown. So it was just like they said yes, and it was just a relief. You know, you were able to like breathe because I feel like with the college process, you're stressed until you get yes from all the schools or the yes from the school that you want to go to. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm stress free and I'm done. I can relax now. Like everything's good. So
Wow. So what is the application that you had to wait for the answer the longest, just in general?
I think it was Shippensburg. I only applied to like 4 schools, or 5, I don't know. No, it was the University of Arizona. I wasn't gonna go there, but I was just like, I'm gonna just apply there. I think I had to wait until like May for that, and I got my FAFSA late too, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going there. Nope. So
No, that's late.
yeah, I was like, no.
Okay. So the last question for you guys is, if you could come up with your best piece of advice, whether it be instant decision day or the college application process in general, or you can answer both, what would be your best advice for these students? There are juniors and seniors on here.
I'll go first. My advice would be to sign up for every instant decision day. Even if you don't think you are interested in that college, signing up for that instant decision day gives you a backup plan. So if your dream school doesn't have an instant decision day, your conscience will be settled if you have went to other instant decision days and you got accepted or you got into those colleges.
Okay. Bryce?
I'd say my best advice is never really put a school out of your top 10 or out of anything, because every school, as I said, I didn't think I'd be coming to Mansfield. So any school that shows interest, never count them out, because they might end up being your school. That's probably my best advice.
Yeah, it's like what Bryce said. Kutztown was like my last tour school, and I signed up for it, and I was like, I'm just gonna go just to like see it. I really didn't think I would like it here, and like the school that I thought I didn't like was the school I ended up going to. And also, I feel like for the college process, just start early. A lot of people started late, and they're fast though they started late, and you really want to start early with like essays and like teacher recommendations, getting your transcript and stuff, and like just having all those documents and just doing it early, so you're like stress free the rest of your senior year. It's just like getting it done and over with, getting an answer earlier, because the earlier you apply, the earlier you get an answer from. And I think also just like relaxing, because I was like, no school's gonna like accept me. I was like, oh my god, like I don't know if I'm even gonna go to college, but like there's a school out there for you if you really want to go to college. Like they're going to accept you. Don't be like me and be like negative and like be like, no school's gonna want me. So there's a school out there for you, and everything happens for a reason. So wherever you end up going is where you were meant to be. So yeah.
My advice is, and this doesn't really have anything to do with instant decision days, but I would definitely form a plan of what you want to do outside of like when you graduate, because senior year goes by really fast. And so I would, even if you don't want to go to college, if you want to work or go to a trade school or go into the military or something, I would definitely have a set plan of what you want to do so you can prepare yourself mentally and physically and all that to meet your goal of what you want to do. So like a lot of people ask me, they're like, I don't know if I want to go to school or not. And I just tell them, like, if I were you, I would at least go to community college. You don't have to know what you want to do, but at least go and start something. And if you realize you want to do something else, then you can always change it or go to work or whatever your choice is. But yeah, that my advice is that at least have a set plan and listen to your guidance counselor and go to her and make sure like you have her support of what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. And I actually added one more question because something you guys said made me think of something. So I know Maggie has to go, so I'll let her answer this first. It wasn't on my list. And you may have already answered it with the last question. If you have a biggest regret with the college planning process, what was it? If you have a biggest regret. And Maggie, if you have time, but you don't have an answer, if you want to pass it to somebody, you can, not to put the pressure on you.
I think for me, maybe just like applying to more schools and applying to more scholarships. I feel like I was like, oh no, like scholarships, like I'm not gonna get it. Like I'll write this essay or do this, whatever the scholarship tells me but I probably won't win. Like, you have to not have that mindset with these types of things. I feel like I should have applied to more scholarships. Like, I still can, but like I feel like back then to get more money and stuff, I should have like done a little bit more. Like, I got like a good amount of money from the school I went to, but like, you know, saving money is always a good thing. So I feel like I should have applied to more scholarships.
How early do you think you should have started applying for scholarships?
I think at like summer of going into your senior year, I had all these like websites, and they're like for juniors and seniors. So I mean, as soon as your junior year, you can start applying to scholarships for college, or even like early as your summer going into your senior year. So like if you have a lot of time, like, you know, if you have time, they're really not hard. Like the essays, you'll be like, oh, an essay, but like getting the money is just so worth it, rather than like doing like loans and stuff, which I didn't want to do. So yeah, just applying to scholarships.
Okay. Thank you. Mariah?
My biggest regret is definitely similar to Maggie's, like not applying for as many scholarships. And I really took my time on doing like financial aid and FAFSA. So I think because even now, like I still have to sort out my financial aid. I think if I did it way beforehand, before going into college and making sure that I was all set to go and applying for more scholarships, that it would have been better. Gear Up helped me a lot because they gave me like 2 or 3 scholarships and helped me with school. But other than that, I think I should have been more financially problematic with it.
Thank you. Bryce?
I think my advice is just to go to as many instant decision days as you can. Like my biggest regret was not going to many. I only went to 3. It's just because going to each one of those, it kind of gives you exposure to each college and how every college works, and you kind of get a feel for what they like and what they want, and you get to see what you would like be interested in. I kind of left myself with only a few colleges to pick from because I didn't go to as many. So yeah, that's probably my biggest regret.
Okay. And Miss Aviana, last but not least, your biggest regret, whether it be instant decision day or anything.
My biggest regret had to be the scholarships, like Maggie and Mariah said. Scholarships are really important. They help you out a lot in the long run. They can help you with your housing. They can help you with your tuition, all that. So I regret not filling out as much scholarships as I could have. And applying to schools earlier, also, I would say you should do that. And then if there's like school trips that take you to the colleges to see them and see the atmosphere, I would definitely go because you get exposure to what the college is like, and it'll help you out in the long run.
Thank you. So thank you guys so much, our VIPs. If we can give them a virtual round of applause. And so I know Maggie has to go to class, but some of them will be hanging around for the rest of the meeting. I'm going to go through the information about Instant Decision Day pretty quickly because I did give you guys a handout. And I'm going to go a little bit faster than I wanted to, just so if you guys have any questions in general from the students, you can ask them whether you put them in the chat or unmute yourself, okay? So I'm going to share my screen and just give you guys the basics of what you guys need to do to prepare for Instant Decision Day this year. It's going to be a little bit different than last year. So again, there is a handout. Oops, what is that? There we go. Again, all this information is going to be in the handout that I gave you guys. So what is an Instant Decision Day? So you guys, again, are going to be able to participate in an interview. We have about 15 schools that are scheduled to come. And just like everybody else said, you'll find out immediately if you are accepted. And in some cases, the colleges will give you money. They give you maybe $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 right there on the spot. Okay. So these are the deets. So you guys must sign up ahead of time. So there is a link in the email that I sent you, and there's also a link in the Google Meet box that you have today if you haven't signed up for any colleges. If you only signed up for a few and you want to sign up for more, you can actually just go back in there and fill it out again. I'm going to look to see what is the most recent form that you filled out and use that one. There are a limited amount of slots because we only have so much time in a day. So you guys actually will have more time because we're virtual this year and half of the school day is gone. So whatever day we schedule the meetings on, the meetings are going to run between 10:30 and 2:30. However, if the college sees that we have a lot of students that are eligible, if we need to run past 2:30, we will run past 2:30 if you do meet the criteria. Every school has a different criteria. Some may have a 2.5 GPA, some may have a 3, some may have a 3.5. Most of these schools will be test optional, but they will tell you what the score is that they're looking for. So if you do have an ACT or an SAT that meets that criteria and exceeds it, you should submit that score because that will confirm some things that they thought about you or put you in the running, and you may actually get some more money. Okay. All of these meetings will be held on Zoom. So what's going to happen is you'll get an invite for the whole span of 10:30 to 2:30, but I will give you a specific time. So what you'll have to do, just like any Zoom meeting that you go to that has a password or something on it, you guys will kind of just sit in the waiting room until we're ready for you. And I think I can actually text you guys messages while you're in the waiting room. But worst case scenario, I will be checking my email while the meeting is going on. So if you have any questions, or if you're going to be late or whatever, you can just send me an email and I'll email you while you're sitting there. So this is how to best prepare. You want to make sure that you have completed the application at least 5 days prior to the interview. I can't tell you how many students last year did not do the application before the interview. And so what's going to happen is you're not going to get an acceptance on the spot. They have to wait until they get your application. Okay. So you're going to get your information at least 2 weeks before. So make sure you completed the application for each one. You want to make sure that all the components of the application are complete. So if they want a letter of recommendation, you want to have those. You can submit them to me ahead of time, because what I like to do is send them whatever I can ahead of time so that they can view that before they come and they don't have to read it while you're there. I will also send them a copy of your transcript so you don't have to worry about that. If they have an essay, you need to submit the essay, even if it says it's optional, because those of you who know me, I do not believe that optional is optional. You need to do the essay, especially now since everything is pretty much going to be test optional. They need one more measure to kind of figure out who you are as a person. On the day of the interview, you want to make sure that you relax, just like the class of 2020 said. These interviews are very, very informal. Just like you and I have conversations and we chit chat and joke around, they're just like that. So nobody's going to be sitting there with some spectacles or glasses at the edge of their nose with the chain on, writing ferociously as you are talking. It's going to be very, very casual. And those meetings will last between 5 to 15 minutes. And yes, you want to dress to impress. Yes, on virtual. You see, I have on a necklace today because I knew I was going to be in an interview. I have on a sweater. I'm not going to tell you that I have on basketball shorts because you don't need to know that, right? So you want to make sure, at least from this part up, that you are dressed well, that your hair is done, okay? So you don't have to wear a suit or a dress, but you want to make sure that you dress like you want a yes and you want some scholarship money, okay? You want to arrive at your appointment 5 minutes early. So again, it will be in a Zoom meeting. Okay. Now, these are the schools that are confirmed, and we're almost done with this part. So Shippensburg, Kutztown, Bloomsburg, Lebanon Valley, Immaculata, Alvernia, East Stroudsburg, Widener University, Gwinnett Mercy, and Westchester. So they are all confirmed. So we're still waiting or hoping that we get confirmations from Cabrini, Chestnut Hill, Delaware Valley, Lincoln University, Mansfield, and Millersville. So these are all the people who did the interviews with us last year. Yes, I already contacted Temple, and no, they will not be doing one, unfortunately. I tried. I really tried. But they're not going to be able to do an instant decision date with us. Okay, so it's not guaranteed that these pending schools are, but I have sent them a couple of emails, so I'm just waiting to hear back. And that's it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I think I skipped over some things because the other students kind of went over that information. And also, if you are looking to major in nursing, art, or music, they most likely will not do a decision on the spot for those because they have to also talk to the person that's in charge of that department. So there's usually 2 or 3 steps that they have to go through in order for them to make a decision with that, okay? So on the handout that I gave you in your email, it does have the dates on there. So Shippensburg is the first one. And so the date is October 1st. And on the handout, on the 3rd page, all the criteria that Shippensburg is looking for that day is there. And so I'll be collecting the other ones. They don't start until the 21st. So I should have all of them by then. And so I can just send you one big spreadsheet. Okay. So at this point, I am done. So if you guys have any questions, you can unmute yourself or put them in the chat, and you can tell me if the question is for me or if you have a question for one of our college students that are on here, because they're actually going to give you way better advice than me.
Oh, just a quick note. By the way, I'm Ms. Mitchell's intern. I'm also doing mock interviews this year. I know a lot of seniors that they're nervous. So mock interview is we will both dress up as though it is a real interview day. And we're going to practice going through the questions to get a feel of what it's like. So to do that, just make an appointment with Ms. Mitchell and she'll let me know.
And that is Ms. Sai, by the way. She's interning with me and also with Ms. Cedric over at Roosevelt. Okay. So you guys can have at it. You can ask questions about instant decision day, or you can ask questions about anything related to senior year. Any questions? I know I see some.
Yes, I have one. So, are you gonna be posting these links for instant decision like through email or on your page?
I sent it to you. I sent it to you. I just sent it to you earlier, like right before the meeting, and it's also in the box of where you are. But I post stuff everywhere, so stuff is on Twitter, Instagram,
okay,
and in emails. I'll be sending you guys, through all those mediums. And also, just in case you guys don't know, I have a website now. This was in an email that I sent you guys last week. And the website is updated pretty much every other day. And anything that requires a link or a video or you just need to know, it will be on this website. So I'm putting it in the chat right now. So it is active. It has all of your counselors' information on it. You can click a link and find their email address, their caseload, any upcoming events, anything related to senior year, anything that has a video on it, that's there. Just make sure that you mute yourselves if you're not speaking. Okay. All right, let's see. Here's a question. Would you by any chance have any other colleges or universities do an instant decision day? Right now, that's all we have, but every now and then there is a college that is not scheduled to do an instant decision day that will ask us. So if they want to do one, I will schedule it. So usually once they kind of figure out their schedule for the year, that's when they'll go back and forth to see who they want to do instant decision days with. Every school, actually, every high school doesn't even do instant decision days. And every college doesn't do them either. But also, you guys want to look at the websites of your colleges on your list. If they're not doing an instant decision day with us, they may actually be doing one on their campus. Okay, so you want to check and see if they're doing an instant decision day or a virtual tour or an open house. Okay, letters of recommendation. How does one get them and who do we ask? So letters of recommendations, you're gonna talk to your teachers that you feel know you the best. Not who likes you the best, but who knows you the best. As far as your habits in class, your character, if you know what your major is, if you can pick one of your teachers that if you want to go into law, you might want to ask one of your history teachers or your English teacher to write it for you. If you've had a teacher for 2 years, maybe you did a lot of projects in class and they've been able to observe how you work with other people. Those would be some really good people to ask for letters of recommendations. If you are in clubs and organizations, you'll always need an alternate or a non-teacher one. So you might want to ask one of your advisors to write a letter for you. You want to give them at least 2 to 3 weeks of yourself. You want to give yourself 2 to 3 weeks to let them know that you are needing the letter of recommendation. Please don't give them the request the day before you need it, because 1, you're either not going to get it, or 2, it's going to be trash, right? If you want a trash letter of recommendation, raise your hand. I don't think so. So you want to make sure that you give them some time. Also, there's something that I forgot to email you. We have something called a brag sheet that you can fill out and give the teacher some information about you so that it can kind of jog their memory of some things that happened in class, because that will help them write a better recommendation for you. Remember, there are tons, especially popular teachers, there are tons of people asking them for those letters. So as fabulous as you are, and as you think you are, and they think you're fabulous too, we don't remember stuff. I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. I do remember what I had for lunch today. That was quite tasty. Okay. Somebody said, when is there going to be a FAFSA workshop? So FAFSA goes for the free application for federal student aid. I'm going to put that advertisement out next week, but it will be on October the 13th. It will be virtual. So there will be 2 sessions. There will be an English session and there will be a Spanish section. It will be 2 totally different sections. So we already have somebody from Manor College that speaks Spanish that will do the Spanish session. And then we have Mr. Michael Burke from FIA, which is the state financial aid service. He's going to do that one. So I'm still just trying to figure out logistically how that's going to work, but there will be 2 different meeting codes for that. And so hopefully by Monday or Tuesday, I'll have some details for you. And any other questions, you can type them in the chat or you can unmute yourself, and they can also be for our college.
I wanted to say something about the letters of recommendation. So I went to Norristown just my senior year. So they like finding teachers, because there was only the people that I had, asking them to write a letter of recommendation was just weird to me, because I feel like in like 2-3 months they still wouldn't have the chance to really know me. So I asked from my old school that I went to, and I asked because I worked all throughout high school, I just asked my managers and my boss if they were able to write me a letter of recommendation just based on my character and like how I worked and stuff. So it doesn't have to just be like from school. It can be from like people outside too. So that's what I did.
And that was a great piece of advice, because you should not ask your teacher, your senior year teacher, if you've never had them before, because like she said, they haven't really gotten time to know you. So I know you're fabulous, but they don't know how fabulous you are because they just met you a couple weeks ago. Right. So that's people that you've known. So that was a great piece of advice. When will we find out if we fit the criteria for the schools doing instant decision day? That is great, because I forgot to put that in my notes. So what's going to happen is I'm going to print out transcripts for students for each individual instant decision day. Look to see who meets the criteria based off of what they're looking for and other information that you sent me. And then I will let you know, and we will make a schedule. So this is something that didn't come up earlier. I'm not going to let you embarrass yourself or get your feelings hurt in a meeting. If I don't think that you meet the criteria, I'm going to let you know. If they're looking for a 3.5 and you have a 1.5, you're not getting an appointment. Okay. But if they're looking for a 3.0 and you might have a 2.7, but you may have some other things that really make you stand out, then we will still try to schedule you an appointment if there's space. But I will give you the heads up that, you know, it may or may not work out, but we'll still give you an appointment, because there have been a couple of students that I did not think were going to get accepted, and they did, you know, so that was great. I like to be wrong in those cases. So I will give you the heads up, because I don't want you in there with your feelings hurt. I don't want you crying or anything like that. So I will let you know ahead of time. I think I saw Elijah had his hand up.
Yes, like what type of things would like go into like if they didn't want to accept you?
So if you get in there and they don't want to accept you, they're going to tell you one or two things. They're going to tell you that they want to hold off and wait to get test scores for you. They may suggest that you go ahead and take the ACT or the SAT another time, or they may tell you that they want to see your next report card. Okay, so that's really important. So for those of you who have really good grades last year before we left on the pandemic, and now they're going to ask you most likely for your mid-year reports in the meeting that I'm going to email them while they're there. So you want to make sure that your grades are on point. And whatever you had last year, especially if you had good grades last year, please let me know to print out a copy of your report card, and I will include that, because that way they will know that you are doing well before you left. They already think that your grades were added for the next semester. Okay. Guys, make sure you mute yourselves if you're not talking. Okay. Someone asked, can I elaborate on the HBCU tour event going on Saturday, 9/17? So I did put something on Instagram, and I hope I put it on Schoology. I'm going to check in on the website. There's an HBCU, or Historically Black College and Universities tour on Saturday. Is virtual. It is $5, but it is worth $5. So recall all the times that you guys go to Wawa, Chick-fil-A, and y'all swear y'all broke, but y'all come in with all this Starbucks every day. So you have $5, okay? Because somebody has to pay for this portal. But most of the HBCUs will be in there. You can kind of go in and out of the chat rooms. They're going to have like a general session in the morning. I've been to this one. I know the last one that I gave you guys to go to was not that good. The one a couple of weeks ago, I was so embarrassed. But this one I've been to a couple of times, and it's really good. So I would highly recommend that if you can register for it, you can. It's a couple of hours long, but you don't have to sit there the whole time. You just pick and choose which colleges you want to look at. And they also give you fee waivers. So most of the historically Black colleges and universities do not accept fee waivers from us. So that way you can get some fee waivers from them, and you won't have to pay the $35 fee. Somebody asked where the registration is. The registration may be on the link on my bio, but it's there. But I'm going to go back and check that. Okay. Any other questions? They can be for me, or they can be for the students here. Is there a rain date for the event? No, there's no rain date. It's not raining. It's going to be virtual, so it'll be on that day. But they will have the HBCU virtual tour. They're going to have that a couple of times, because I've already been to 5 of them that they had since April. So they're going to have them a lot. Do we have to sign up for virtual tours, and where do we sign up? So you can either go on my website and look for things on Instagram, and you can also go on the websites of the schools that you're interested in. They will have virtual tours pretty much every day. If you're on Instagram, I know Kutztown has a virtual tour every day. And then most of them will have open houses that are virtual. So you want to check those out. And some schools actually are open for tours. So if you guys want to do some tours, they're not letting you bring like your whole family of 6 or 10, you know, and all your neighbors, but it'll be you and 1 or 2 parents. You guys can go. So check out the sites again of your top choices, because they may have tours. Okay. Any other questions for me or the college students? You can put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. All right, going once, because I don't believe in holding people hostage. Going once. Going twice, going 3 times. This is great. We've held the same number of people the whole time. So my college students, any last thing that you want to share before we hang up?
There was a question in the chat box. Someone asked for the college students, how is college different? We were actually talking about this before you guys got on, but I know for me, the workload is much different. Like, you have to study so much more, and it's a class that you're paying for. So there's no point in failing it if you're paying for it. It's just totally different.
And you talking about paying. So what is the difference between having to pay for things in high school and college? Because I think in college you had to pay for everything, don't you?
Everything, yeah. So it's different. People take high school for granted. You don't have to pay for any of that education when it's setting you up for college, where you do have to pay for it, and it's going towards your career in the long run.
What's the next question?
Do you like your major? I don't know about them, but my major is nursing, and it's so hard, but it's what I want to do for a living, so I like it.
My major is early childhood education. Right now, I don't like it, but I know, like, because I was a student teacher my senior year, that this is something that I want to do. But just learning all the information and getting like backtracked and stuff is kind of annoying, but it's also interesting. You just have to stay focused instead of continuously like changing your major because you don't like it right now.
Now, Mariah, didn't you do the teacher academy at the tech school? Did you do that?
Yeah, I did.
Can you share about that? Because we do have some juniors on here. So can you talk to them real briefly about the teacher academy and if that helped you?
So Teacher Academy is set up with the tech school, the Central Monaco Tech School, and basically 3 out of the 5 days of the week you go to a school. First you'll start off elementary, then you'll go middle, and then the third time you get to pick what school. And basically you're just an intern. You're basically you have a mentor that's training you of what it's like to be a teacher. So you'll make lesson plans, you'll help her with whatever she needs or him, and you'll do all that. And then the other 2 days you'll be in class doing English 101. So you'll be taking an English college credit as well, which is really helpful because then you don't have to take it your freshman year of college. So you're getting college credits and you're getting the in-field experience of what it's like to be a teacher. And it doesn't even have to be just a teacher. It can be counseling, social work, like a principal. It can be anything related to being in a school.
Okay, and so again, we're done, but we're answering any questions that come up. So as long as the college students have, I will hang out here because I want to make sure, again, that you get answers to questions because they're going to be able to answer them better than me.
Yes, somebody asked what is the difference between part-time and full-time students? I don't really like full-time is just like you're doing it every day, like you have classes all day long. When like part-time, you're just like, isn't that like when people take like night classes or something, or like it's only partially a week?
Part-time is it all accounts for how many courses you're taking. So if you are taking, I know for me, I take 5 classes and I have 16 credits, so that makes me a full-time student. And if you are taking like 2 classes, it doesn't matter when, it could be night or day. If you're taking 2 classes and it's worth 8 credits, you'll be considered a part-time student.
And then someone said, how do you balance college work, part-time work, and personal life?
I was about to say, I got this one. So with me being an athlete and everything, it's a lot to balance college with work. I have 2 jobs at home currently, so I don't have to be working right now since I'm away from home. But with being an athlete and everything, it's waking up, or I'm waking up, I'd say around 5 o'clock every day to go to morning workouts. Then I have to get into classes around 7 or 8 o'clock. So it's a lot to balance, and you do have a personal life. It's not like you're a no life. The weekends you have fun. It's just, so it's a learning curve for balancing everything, but you'll be fine. Honestly, it's not hard. So.
I know someone asked any advice for people who are undecided. If you're undecided, I would suggest that you still go to college because based off of all of the gen eds that they offer, it should be easy for you to find at least an area of where you think you would want to be. So I would still go to college, but I would also try to figure out now, try to see if you know what you want to do in the future.
My advice for people that go undecided, I'm not saying it's good advice. I'm just saying I always say that if you don't know what you're going for, at least go for like business or something because there's a lot of things you can do with a business degree and a business like major. So I always tell people if you don't know what to go for, at least go for business or something that you can do a number of things with.
And a piece of advice that I give students who are undecided, believe it or not, the number one major across the country is called undecided. Some colleges may call it something else, but most people don't know what they want to do. And then there are some people who do know what they want to do, but like these guys said, some people change their minds. So I would suggest to you, maybe find out determine what your favorite subjects are. So if you really like history, if you really like math, then you want to make sure that the colleges that you're looking at have a strong major in math or a strong major in history or law or something like that. So you can kind of fool around with the different options that you have. And then you won't have to, it'll cut down the chances of you having to transfer to another school. Because if you do have to transfer to another school, it's not like high school where they'll take all your credits. They don't have to take all your credits. So you really want to be careful, about transferring. So there is a question here that says, are there things you wish you knew before committing to your college? Ooh, that's a hot one.
How cold it was up here, how cold it gets. I'm in the mountains. It was 32 degrees on Monday here, and it's only September. So yes, I wish I knew how cold it got up here before I committed, but I still like it up here. So.
Oh, I knew it was cold when you went there because I went to go visit there in November, and it was snow on the ground. It wasn't even snowing. I didn't realize it until we were there for like 2 days. Snow everywhere. But your campus is beautiful, though.
Yes, I love campus up here.
And
For me, I wish. Go ahead.
And Bryce is, and just in case you weren't here earlier, Bryce is at Mansfield. Aviana's at Temple, obviously, because we see all your little pictures in the back. And Mariah is at Westchester. You go ahead, Aviana. The question was, are there things you wish you knew before committing to your college?
I wish I would have knew we were switching to all online classes because I would have went to Monco for 2 years where it would have been cheaper and then went to Temple. So I wish I would have knew that they were switching it to online.
But I'm glad that you are there because nursing is hard to get into. So as a possibility, you may have tried to transfer from Montco and not be able to go into nursing. I mean, for you to get in there right away. So I feel what you're saying, but in your case, you are in the best spot.
Yeah. Campus.
How do you feel living on campus, and do you like your room and meal plan?
I'm not at my apartment right now, but I have an apartment on campus and it's really nice. I have 3 other roommates. And so the area and the rooming for me is really nice. As a freshman, you don't usually get to live in an apartment. It's usually a dorm. But I guess considering the circumstances and like COVID and stuff, there's not as many people living on campus. So that's really nice. The meal plan there for Westchester, there's like multiple different options. Because then like just the options are weird, but the meal plan's really nice and it comes in handy, especially like if you're struggling financially, you already paid for the meal plan. So you're able to just like go out to eat and not worry about like making sure you're going to eat that day. So that's really nice.
I'd say living on campus is great. Right now, I don't have a roommate. My roommate left. So I have a whole C unit to myself, which is 2 separate rooms that have their own bedrooms. I have my own bathroom. I don't have to share a bathroom with anybody. If you do come to Mansfield, you can request to be by yourself. You don't have to have a roommate. Yeah, and the meal plan, the food up here is not terrible. I'll just say that. A lot of people say it's bad, but it's pretty good. There's a lot of options, a lot of different places I can use it. There's a whole thing called Mountie Market, which is open till 1 o'clock in the morning. So if you're hungry at like 11 o'clock, you can go and get yourself a personal pizza. They'll give it to you and everything. So, yeah.
For me, I'm home, so obviously I like it here.
And just to speak on Aviana is home, because we had a lot of conversations about, you know, what she was going to do. So Aviana made the decision to commute because one of the things that I talked to you guys about are these gaps in your financial aid packages. And so that's where they were talking about the regrets of getting scholarships. So they did get scholarships, but sometimes depending on what school you're going to, there's a big gap in your financial aid package. And so you have to make a decision if you're going to commute or if you're going to go to a different school. So Temple, I think, was your number 1 or number 2. She really
That was my first pick.
Yeah, she really wanted to go to Temple. So she made that decision and that sacrifice to commute this year. And then maybe next year she may change her mind and stay on campus, you know, but she's already motivated to figure out what she needs to do to make that happen. Another question. Would you reconsider to go to Montco because of the cost? So that can be for anybody.
I'll speak for that because I was actually gonna go to Montco. So if you're in a financial hardship, I would suggest going to Montco first. It's the cheaper option, and in all reality, Montco's a very good school. So even though it's a community college, you can still get the same education you get anywhere else. So if you're like in a financial hardship, I would suggest maybe thinking about going to Montco and then transferring to a different school. So either way you look at it, it's not really a bad idea unless you want to go into a nursing program and you got accepted straight into the nursing program, what Miss Mitchell was talking about with me. But other than that, Montco was a good decision.
And I want to hold on, Mara. I want to add on to what she just said too about Montco being a good decision monetarily. I just want to add a twist to that. You guys want to make sure that you still apply to all of the 4-year colleges that you want to apply to. Wait until you get your financial aid packages for every single school. And then once we crunch the numbers, because I know with Aviana and a lot of other students, we sat and went through all of their financial aid packages, looked at all the numbers to see what's the best options, because sometimes you might be a student that needs money, but the package that you got from a private school may end up being a very good package and you can, you know, afford to go there. So just make sure that you look at all of your financial aid packages first before you make that decision that Montco is the best financial option for you. All right. So we got 1 or 2 more comments and then we're going to close it out. So Mariah had something to say.
I was gonna say, I think Montco is the best decision if you don't know, if you're undecided, like if you don't know what to go for, because a lot of people, they choose their school based on what they're going for. But if you don't know what you're going for and still want to go to college, I think Montco is the best option, just so you're continuing your education and you still have time to make a decision.
Just to add on to the whole thing with Montco, my mom wasn't, back in high school, she wasn't in the best financial state, and she wanted to be a nurse, so she went to Montco for 2 years, transferred to Drexel, and now she has her master's degree. She's probably one of the top persons in her job, and she makes $106,000 a year. So Montco isn't a terrible school. She can tell you that it's a great school, and you can do anything from going to Montco. So.
And I agree with that. And you know, you done shout out your mom's, you know, coins and everything. That's we're gonna get you for that. But Montco is a great community college. It's one of the best in our region. And the last comment that I want to make about Montco, if you end up making a decision to attend Montco, they do have an honors program at Montco, and they have 25 scholarship spaces. So if you are one of the students that receive one of those scholarship spaces, then you don't have to pay to go to Montco at all. All right. So it's the honors program. I would suggest that you start applying to that as early as you can, so that you'll be on the list early to get interviews for that. Okay. So thank you guys so much. It's 2:01. Thank you so much. We give a virtual round of applause and kisses to our VIP staff and that are coming on here from the class of 2020. So we're going to be pulling on you guys some more. This was kind of fun. was better than you guys sitting here listening to me talk for 30 minutes. And so you guys, again, make sure that you register for your instant decision days if you haven't done so. And I'm going to stop the recording now, but college students, if you want to hang out, you can do so. Thank you guys so much for